Hey, everybody, good morning and welcome back. If you happen to be tuning in live, well, we're hearing this theme song again. That's exciting. If you happen to be tuning in live via our 80s Wrestling the Podcast YouTube page, jump into the comments section. And what is happening? Tommy, are you there, brother? Tommy Fear, are you there, my man?
Yes, I am. I am here. Jumping Jay, you're going to be
You're
doing you're going to be doing some hard time if you don't get this 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 stuff under
it's like
control here.
repeating on me.
Well, listen, this is 2 weeks in a row. You had some technical difficulties. It is a new platform for us, but I am here now. I am excited to talk about today's episode. We are looking back on the career of one of my favorites growing up as a kid. I know you too, Jumpin' Jay, the Big Boss Man. And joining us momentarily as well will be his daughter, Lacey. So I'm excited to have her on. Real quick, I tell you a funny story that happened to me this morning if you want to hear about it. Jumpin' Jay, you there? Jumpin' Jay must be having some technical difficulties. And it says that I'm on the show right now. So, Jumpin' Jay, I don't know if you can hear me or if anyone else can hear me. Hopefully, you could. And hopefully, while I'm telling the story, Jay can figure out what's going on his end. So, this morning, well, first of all, rewind to yesterday morning. So yesterday morning, I go into the store that I typically don't go into to get my Monster Energy drink, and I usually go to a different guy, but for some reason I stopped in this guy's place yesterday, and I go in. I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt, and the guy's like, "Oh man, I love your shirt. That's so cool." Blah blah blah. I like the color. It makes me, feel like I want to go to Hawaii. Have you ever been to Hawaii before? And I have been to Hawaii. And we started talking about Hawaii for a couple minutes, and then, as I'm leaving, all right, man, have a good day. Nice shirt again. Like, the guy was super cool. So I'm like, this morning I'm driving past the store, and I said to myself, well, you know what? That was a nice guy yesterday. I think I'm gonna stop back there again today, So, and I'm wearing a different color, a different pattern Hawaii shirt today. So I go back into his store today. I get my monster drink. I see him. I go, hey man. I know how much you loved my Hawaiian shirt yesterday. So I, raided my closet, and I got another one on for you today. Nothing. Not like, not a smile, not a laugh, not a thank you for coming back again. Absolutely nothing. So I hand the guy my $5. He gives me my change. Nothing. And I walk out the door, get in my car and drive away. It was the weirdest thing ever because the guy was like super cool, and I was having a couple minute conversation with him yesterday. Today he acted like he didn't know the hell I was. I'm wondering if one, does he have a twin brother? Or two, was he on something yesterday? Because it was really, really weird, Jumpin' Jay.
Tommy, thank you for filling the air with that awesome story. I figured out my technical difficulties, but the echo's gone and we're here, brother. I'm
Good.
excited for this morning, dude. I had
Yes.
this whole intro planned, my man. I was talking about we're going to take a road trip to Cobb County. We're going to be serving hard time. And then my technical snafu threw me for a loop, brother. But we are
That's
headed to
okay.
Cobb County today because we're going to be talking about one of the greatest characters from this golden era of professional wrestling, which we absolutely love. And when you think about that blue uniform, those black shades, the handcuffs hanging from that belt, and listen, that unmistakable theme song, brother,
Oh
we're
yeah.
talking about the Big Boss Man today.
Excited to talk about the Big Boss Man. One of my childhood favorites. He was easy to get behind once he turned babyface. That song is so catchy, and man, he's so underutilized. And I know his Dark Side of the Ring episode just recently aired, so that's another reason why we're covering him. And once in a blue moon, Jumpin' Jay, I jump into the deep end of my world of professional wrestling and ask for a favor every now and again. And today, I called in one of those favors. I got his daughter. We got his daughter, Lacey, on the show right now. Lacey, good morning. Welcome to 80s Wrestling, the podcast. And as you can tell, I just had to jump in on the fly and save Jumpin' Jay during his technical difficulties. Hopefully, you enjoyed my Hawaiian shirt story. Good morning.
Gotta love it. You really bombed with that one this morning, though. It did land. What's up with that? Hey,
Hello.
everybody. Thanks for having me on, guys. I
Lacey,
really
I gotta
appreciate it.
Lacey, I gotta apologize right off the stop for that snafu in the beginning. You deserve better, Lacey Trailer, and so I do apologize. And I'll take the heat for the Confather story bombing because people were distracted by whatever I had going on.
No, it's always
Can you hear me, Jumpin' Jay?
good to catch up with you, man. Shoot, what is it?
That's right.
And the fact
Jay,
that
you
we're on
there?
Yeah, brother, we can hear you.
Well, I can't hear Lacey. I can't hear
Oh
Lacey talking
shit!
on my
Can you
end.
hear you? Can
You
you hear
can't hear
me?
Lacey's killing it right now, brother.
I don't hear one word. You got this all screwed up today,
Oh
This is
Jumpin' Jay.
shoot!
absolutely fantastic.
I'm gonna log
Do I
out
need
and
to
back into the show.
disconnect
Hopefully,
and
you
join
get
back in?
your
No,
thing
Lacey,
under
you're doing
control.
great. We're gonna have the Confather, Tommy Furio, log out and log back in. Welcome back to the dark side of podcasts, where two guys can't figure out how to talk to somebody. Lacey, I can hear you. You obviously can hear me. We could both hear Tommy. But really, the people that want to talk to you, I could talk to you for the full hour, but we got callers on this show that
Oh,
absolutely
amazing!
love your dad. I don't know if you, I hope you understand how big a part of all of our childhood your dad played. I've never been able to say this to another human being, but your dad was on my bed sheets, Lacey, which is kind of wild to
Oh,
tell
that's
somebody.
great. That's great. Yeah, man, it's been crazy because like growing up, it was just that was just the life. It was so normal, and then the fact that 22 years later, they dropped this documentary and it's had so much engagement. It's just been a real eye opener because I really did not understand just how popular that he was. And I want to say, like, back in 2016, when we had the Hall of Fame experience and they honored him by putting him in the WWE Hall of Fame, it clicked some. It's like, wow, this is wild. But it's just, been a real honor to sort of get to know him through the fans. And I talked about in the documentary that really it took me like over a decade to be able to connect with that part of him, like the wrestling of it all. And if it wasn't for the fans, and just so many good experiences with them and speaking with people, and then we have, back in 2021, I had started a Big Bossman WWE like Instagram legacy Instagram account because I was inspired by Georgia Smith, British Bulldog's daughter, and Travis Orndorff. And the fact that it's grown how it has over the last couple of years, I've learned so much about wrestling enough to become, a fan myself, which I never thought would happen. So it's just been a real honor. It's been real humbling. And, more than anything, I wish that he were around to enjoy it, because the fan interaction was his favorite part of what he did. And I just know that he would have been at these conventions having a ball, ribbing people and cutting up. And yeah, I would have loved to get to see him, at this phase of his career, really enjoy that.
Well, we would have loved to have met him, and I know that a guy that would have had him at his convention. I'm going to reintroduce the Confather, Tommy Firo. Tommy, can you hear us, brother?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear now. Lacey, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Yeah, Jay, it's so funny that you said that because when Lacey just talked about her dad at conventions now, like, I've had the honor of having so many of my childhood heroes at my 80s wrestling cons, guys that I grew up going every month to the arena and having their shirts and their action figures. And now, fast forward 40 years later, and they're on my events doing, shows with me. Man, I would have loved, and I never had the opportunity to work with the Big Boss Man, even though, there was a little part in the earlier 90s after he left WWF and before he went to WCW. He did some independent stuff, but I was still like only like 16, 17 at that time, so I wasn't really running. I ran a couple events, but not that many at that time. But I would have loved to have had the opportunity. And Lacey, do you think your dad would have had a good time at these events? I'm sure that he would
Oh
have.
yeah. Oh yeah. Especially, man, what is it, in 2023? When I came up to New Jersey for that event, and you had my table right next to Don Fry. I had no
Yes,
idea the two of them were buddies, but that was really, really special to me, and I had a blast. I had a blast, and I was still like very green on wrestling and the history of his gimmick and character and just what was to the business. But oh man, he would have had a lot of fun for sure.
awesome. So, Jumpin' Jay, we're talking all about the Big Boss Man. You think about all the memories and moments he's had, and I'm looking back just briefly, like at my childhood, and I specifically remember that steel cage match he had with Hulk Hogan with the superplex off the cage. I remember, his feud with the Mountie, where he got arrested at SummerSlam. There's so many iconic moments from the Big Boss Man. He was such a larger than life character during that very crucial golden period of the WWF. Jay, what is one of your favorite memories looking back on the career of the Big Boss Man?
Well, here's what I love about when you go to conventions and you meet wrestlers, and now Lacey's talking about how much her dad would have loved it. I get a kick out of how sometimes the biggest, scariest, baddest dudes on television, the ones that we were afraid of as kids, and when you talk about the heel boss man who would attack Hogan, who would have that steel cage match with him, who would team up with Akeem as the Twin Towers, like I was legit scared of him, and then he becomes a baby face. Okay. And then you're cheering for him. And then I'm going to put a photo on the screen if you guys can see the YouTube page. Then you see pictures like this where he's dressed as Rudolph with Mr. Perfect. And so I have a feeling Ray was one of these guys who was probably a big teddy bear in real life and was just so good at being larger than life through the camera. I bet he was just a riot. My favorite memories are obviously cheering for him, but I'll be honest, I was scared of him when he was a heel.
Yeah, he was very good heel. He was scary. And I mean, there were times like, situations happened where he had to he maybe had to turn heel a little bit in real life. So I've seen him scare the shit out of a couple of teenagers here and there, for driving crazy. One time we were on our way home, and there was, some teenagers driving really close behind us, and they ended up passing us, and they were just driving like idiots. And I'll be damned if Dad didn't follow them all the way home, and give them a good talking to, which is hilarious in hindsight. But thinking back, I'm like, man, I wonder if they still think about that. But it's like, he was just a great guy. He was real. You know what I mean? It's like, some people, it's like they put on a mask, but he was Ray all the time. And that's something that I really
Sure.
appreciate about my dad.
Do you
Now,
think
listen, I
these,
know. I'm sorry. Good, Jay.
I was gonna say, do you think these teenagers knew who the Big Boss Man was?
I don't know. I like to think they did.
I hope they did, because that is a weird conversation after he
Yes.
leaves.
Yes. Hey, I was going to ask real quick, and I know you were much younger then, and but what was it like, going places with your dad? I mean, like Jay just said, he asked if the kids knew who he was, but I'm sure that anytime you guys went out, he's a big guy in real life. It's hard to, you can put a hat on all you want, but when you see someone that size walking at you, you know it's somebody. You know, like for example, like today, like if you're not a wrestling fan and you're in the supermarket and you're online waiting to check out and you see Daniel Bryan in front of you, you know, if you're not a diehard wrestling fan, you're just gonna think he's an average guy standing in line. No disrespect to Daniel Bryan, I'm saying, but someone like Big Boss Man, who's larger than life, he can disguise himself all he wants. But like, you're pointing at the guy, I'm like, that's somebody. Who is that? You know, like, so what was it like being out in public? This is a two-part question. Being out in public with your dad and him getting recognized, and then how cool is it for you to see, like, you know, wrestling buddies of your dad, action figures, posters, T-shirts? Bring me through your brain as a kid seeing all this stuff.
Oh wow, that's a great question. So like, oh man, he definitely had an aura about him. He was very charismatic, and even regardless of, the fame, it's like people that have that kind of like magnetism, people are drawn to him. So it was really compounded by, the big boss man of it all. But I remember when I was younger, I would get frustrated because like if you're going to a restaurant, like he's gonna get recognized, right? And so when you're a kid, the world's a lot smaller, and you could be a lot more. I want to say I was selfish sometimes, um, because it's like, can't we just like go out to eat and not be bothered? But at the same time, I thought it was really cool, and I always loved watching him interact with the fans, because he's like a big jokester, right? And so he would mess with people a little bit and have a good time with it. Um, but I looked up to him so much when I was a kid because like he had taught me things that I took very literally, and I think most people should, is that you treat other people the way that you want to be treated, and he really really stood on that, and so it was always cool watching him make people smile. And then I think it was always surprising with people that he was so willing to engage, right? It was very rare that he would turn somebody away. Now I can't think of any time off the top of my head actually, but it was really cool. And I feel really grateful that I got to have those experiences with him, and that he was somebody that people thought it was cool to meet. Because to me it's like, what's this stinky old guy? Like, why do people care? Like, you stink. I'm just kidding, but it's like it just always blew my mind that he was just so charismatic, man. He really was.
When it comes to, we got a picture of the merchandise on the screen right now, from the Wrestling Buddy pillow guy to the LJN, the Hasbros. Some of your dad's stuff is now the most sought after, most expensive collectibles. If you're trying to like get that Wrestling Buddy, you're going to pay an arm and a leg for it. Same with the
Oh wow.
1989 LJN. Do you, as a family of a wrestler, like when that stuff comes out?
Realize how valuable it was, like, because like I said, I just didn't understand his place in wrestling history, but it's been pretty wild to see like all of the collectors and the things that they have, and the fact that it's sought after. Like, he's been gone 22 years, like that. It just blows my mind that we're even getting a new Big Boss Man action figure that they just announced at San Diego Comic-Con. So it's the fact that Big Boss Man merch is still coming out. I love it. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
And then because I have a 12-year-old son, and then my nephew is 10, and like we've been at Target and found freaking Grandpa Ray action figures.
That's awesome.
Like that,
That's so cool.
that is just so cool. Like I can't even.
Absolutely.
I can't even.
Hey, Lacey, real quick, just so you know, I own the Wrestling Collector. It's a pro wrestling superstore in New Jersey, and people are coming in here all the time selling me their old collections. I never know, what's coming through the doors. But if I ever get that nightstick or those bed sheets, I'm gonna put them on the side for you and ship them to you from the Wrestling Collector in New Jersey.
Oh man, you're the best. And yeah,
Yes.
you have got like the coolest setup up there, dude. Because I keep up with you on socials and stuff, and you
Thank you.
always got a superstar coming through there. What a special place.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking live with Lacey Trailer, the daughter of the legend, the Big Boss Man. We're going to take some phone calls now, Lacey. Up next on the Wrestling Collector Slam line, it's time to fly out to the always Chico, California, connect with a guy we like to call Babyface Brian. Brian, good morning, brother. You are live with Lacey.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us,
What
Lacey.
up?
Hey, not too much. Thanks again for joining us.
Babyface Brian.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Jumpin' Jay, there's something wrong with the system today, I think.
I can hear him. Lacey, can you hear Babyface Brian?
Brian, check 1 2. I guess I can't hear him. But
How
I
about
did
now?
see in the
Call back.
comments he dropped
How
the nightstick is super hard to find and expensive. Well, I'm very curious to know, like, what have you seen the price tag on it?
So I'm talking about just the nightstick from the
You know what?
LJN figure.
While he's trying to get him on, what I'm gonna do, Lacey, I'm gonna jump on eBay because sometimes you can put in the item and then you press sold and it tells you what it sells for. Let me see if I
Oh,
can check that
snap.
real quick while he jumps on with you, Jay.
Listen, I could hear him. I don't know why you guys couldn't hear him. Now, Lacey, you did make a reference that your dad liked to play ribs. Now, I'm not saying anything, but we've never had this kind of technical difficulty on the
Yeah.
show before.
His spirit lives.
All right. That's right. We're going to go to the next call and we're going to see if you guys can hear the rookie Edwin. Edwin, man, we're reaching out for the hot tag, brother. You need to save me here. Edwin.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. Lacey, can you hear Edwin?
I don't think so.
Oh, brother. All right. Forget this. We're not. This is absolutely wild to me. We've never had it where only I could hear the callers, but we also got a chat going. So if you have a question, throw it in the chat, and then I can relay it to Lacey Trailer until we can figure out what is going on. Somebody in the comments did want to know, Lacey, what is the social media handle for the Big Boss Man Legacy account? Where can they follow you and see all things Boss Man?
Yeah, of course. It's going to be at Big Bossman WWE, and that's on Instagram. And my handle is in the bio.
So and you run that account, Lacey?
Yes, sir, I do.
So that's a direct line to Lacey, and she'll post everything about the Big Boss Man and things that are going on in her life as well. And so another question that's in the comments here. Oh, he wants that LJN figure. People are saying they want that LJN figure. That's one of the hardest ones. If you're a collector, because it came out in 1989, part of the Black Card series. Is extremely rare and extremely pricey. Is it not, Tommy?
Especially on the card. I mean, loose. Listen, just loose. Loose if it's in okay shape. Probably like $250-300. If it's in great shape, like pristine shape, and it's loose, $400 to $500. If it's on the card, brand new, you're talking big bucks. And just so you know, Lacey, I just went on eBay and I typed in Boss Man foam foam nightstick, and one came up it's only $85. That's not too bad. So if you're looking for one, there's one on eBay right now.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Hey, somebody in the comments said I feel bad for her prom date, and that just cracks me up, because my high school boyfriend used to tell me that when I'm mad, I look like him walking down to the ring.
Were you of dating age? Like, did Boss Man meet any of your boyfriends?
Hell no, man.
No.
I was so afraid to bring a boy home. I didn't even have a boyfriend until I was 18.
And
swear to God.
So how, like, if I met you and I found out you're Big Boss Man's daughter, I would probably freak out a little bit because I was such a big wrestling fan. When people learn this about you, do they get excited?
Um, so that's a great question. It usually takes a minute, before I'll be like, yeah, this is who my dad was. One, because like I don't know if people, for the longest, I'm like, nobody knows who he is or whatever. And then, like, I talked about it a little bit on the documentary when he went into the Hall of Fame in 2016, and my coworkers found out. They were just like floored because I had known them for years before they found that out. So I was like, that kind of helped change my perspective or broaden it. That, people are fans. But like people always think it's cool. Like my in-laws, they aren't obviously like a wrestling family or anything, and so they knew who he was because like I love gifting my father-in-law Big Bossman merchandise for like holidays. But I was really nervous um, leading up to the documentary because one, I wasn't present for my mom's interview or anybody else's. Obviously, I only know what I said, and then I'm like, I didn't know what they were gonna think, but they really enjoyed it, and I think it's been great. People are generally think it's cool. I've gotten to take some people to some of like the WWE live events because it's a little bit different now with the TKO takeover.
Sure.
But Vince and WWE as a whole have always taken really good care of us. And so I never know what someone's gonna say or they if they remember it, but it seems to me like I've been finding out a lot more people grew up on wrestling than I had thought.
Well, and even if you didn't grow up on wrestling, honestly, your dad's character I mean, he was on the Arsenio Hall show. Like, he was
It's true.
kind of part of pop culture. And so, even if you didn't watch wrestling, I think you still know who the Big Boss Man is.
That's true.
Did you have any opportunities as a child to meet any other wrestlers? Did your dad ever bring friends over to the house, or were you ever on the road and got to meet some of the other legends of the ring?
Yeah, I think I got to meet pretty much everybody at one point or another. I mean, my favorite person to go on the road with Dad had to have been Ron Simmons. Believe it or not, I loved Ron. I used to get excited when I knew like we were traveling with him, and then Scotty Too Hottie, man, my little sister used to aggravate the shit out of him. Dad would have to be like, "You got to leave him alone." Like he would be running around with her on the suitcase, like just bothering the shit out of him. But yeah, everybody was always kind. I mean, I wanted to meet Kane was one I recall. Like I wanted to meet him so bad. And I went to this toy convention with Dad, and Kane was going to be there. And I had been talking about it. I was so excited. And so Dad's like, we're going to go meet Kane. And so went to go meet him. And he wasn't wearing the mask, man. He wasn't wearing the mask. I was so upset. I was like, screw it. I don't want to meet him anymore.
So you didn't meet him.
Yeah, well, I did, but it
Okay.
wasn't. I wasn't. The magic of it was faded a little bit because I'm like, okay, nice to meet you, Glenn Jacobs.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, Lacey, when you were talking earlier about, going into, Walmart and Target and seeing, your dad's action figure there and you're with your kid, how proud are you? You're in a store like that and your father's action figure is hanging up in the store where you're just casually shopping for other things. It's gotta make you proud.
Dude, it makes me so proud because I think, I don't know if people really understand, like, because y'all are some Yankees, I love y'all. Um, but we are country, and like my parents, they both came from families that, out of poverty. Like, he really got it from the mud. You know what I mean? And I think that makes it so much more, it adds like a dimension of to the proudness, I feel, of him, and that, you know, he never lost sight of his roots, but also like to rise above kind of that level that he was. It's really hilarious to me, because even when he started, right, and he took that that suplex, what is it called? What is the man? I'm getting better with my wrestling terminology, but he took that suplex, slingshot suplex from Tully Blanchard.
Yes.
Yeah, where he bounces him
And
off the
you
top
know,
rope for sure.
I was talking with George South last year, and George and I were just laughing, because he's like, you know what? That was supposed to be a rib on Tully, right? Like, let's put this big ass guy up here against Tully, and he landed it, and suddenly it's not a joke, it's not a rib anymore. Like, it's not funny anymore. That man can work. And so I love that part of his story too, because I think it's poetic in a way. You know what I mean? Like, it's a true underdog story. And I don't know if we see a lot of that anymore.
Not only could your dad work, but for being a larger wrestler, he could move in the ring, and he could go for long spurts with seemingly not getting tired. Like, your dad was an athlete, which made him so much more fun to
He
watch,
was.
because he wasn't a slow big man. He was a big man that could move.
Like, we would be, and I mean, he would run. He did cross country. Like, we lived about, like, when I say we lived down like a mile and a half dirt road, like 30 minutes away from like the closest grocery store kind of thing. Like, there would be times when we would be on our way back from school, and here we see Dad, you know, 4 or 5 miles from the house, jogging back home, like down the highway, or like drop him off, you know, a couple miles away from home on the way home, and he running back home.
That's incredible. Lacey, people in the comments are asking me to try the phone calls again, because everybody desperately wants to connect with you. I am
Give it
so
a shot.
nervous, Lacey. So we're going to try. And if it doesn't work again, I apologize. We are having one heck of a morning. But we're going to try to reach out to the gentleman who wanted to talk about your dad. He's the one that gave us this topic, or suggested it for this week. It's time to visit the firehouse. It's time for firefighter Brian. Brian, are you there, brother?
I'm here. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. Lacey, can you hear him?
What the hell?
You can't, can you?
No.
You can't hear me?
Do I need to like drop and rejoin?
Maybe.
Do you want
'Cause
to? Are
I
you
can
willing
hear-
to try, Lacey?
I can hear everybody
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Maybe it's you.
All right. Lacey's gonna try. She is an
Dad,
angel,
Dad, I don't
by
think-
the way.
Dad, I don't even think it's you, man. I
Agreed.
think there's something wrong with the system today.
Oh,
Can
I
you
think it
hear
is
me,
the.
Jay?
Can you hear firefighter Brian?
Yes, I can. I love that gravelly voice.
So I will say this: if we don't get Lacey back and we traded her for you, Brian, I'm gonna be a little salty.
I don't blame you, guy, but you know, don't hate the player, hate the game.
And now I don't. And now I don't hear
I
Brian.
don't know, man. You guys can't catch a break. You know,
We can't.
I can hear you
Talk,
now.
Podbeam, now this.
Can you hear firefighter
Crazy.
Brian, Lacey?
I'm pretty sure. Hey, Brian.
I can't hear nobody right
Now I
now.
can't hear nobody.
Oh, my
Oh,
goodness,
shoot.
Lacey. This is horrible, Lacey. But you can hear me.
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I think it's just
I
you and I.
swear
Oh,
I
you
heard
there, Jay?
Brian.
I could hear Brian all day long. I could hear Tommy. I could hear you. I could hear everybody. This is wild. We've never had this type of trouble. So I think it's something to do with the system, Lacey.
Yeah. The system.
The system, right? All right, let me jump into the comments here. Yeah, people are not going to be happy with us because they were so excited to talk to you. And
We'll
now
just have to do it again.
if you're willing, I will send a very strongly worded email to StreamYard and be like, look, we had the guest of a lifetime on and it was butchered. Tommy, do we have you back, brother?
Yes, I'm back, and I can hear Lacey, and I can hear you, but I couldn't hear firefighter Brian. Listen, I think her dad is ripping us, man. This is
I think
awesome.
this is, I have no idea what's going on, but Lacey did say she would love to come back and let us try again some other day. But I think for the rest of the show, it's just the three of us, Tommy.
That's perfectly fine with me, man.
Yeah, sorry guys. Um, but yeah, I'll come back on. We'll have a redo.
We'll have a
So,
redo.
Lacey, let me while we still have you on here, though, let's talk about the Dark Side of the Ring documentary that just came out on your dad. I wanted to get your take on it, and your family's take on it. What did you think about the episode?
I thought they did a great job. I really did. And it's crazy because like I'm a movie person. Like I love film and anything of the arts. And so there's this movie called Hobo with a Shotgun that I saw years and years ago, and I just love this movie. And it's probably not everybody's cup of tea, but it just I every once in a while, like I'll watch a film and I'll think, damn, I wish I could watch this with dad, because he loved movies. And I even think like he loved to act. Um, and so I think about like, man, what would he have been up to all these years? I'm sure he would have like tried to dabble in it. But the Hobo with a Shotgun, I just think it's great. It cracks me up, and I just love like a good anti-hero storyline. And so I had made an Instagram post with like a still from the movie, um, and Jason Eisner, turns out that's his movie. He wrote and directed that movie, and so it's crazy, like the invisible strings like that I have with Jason and Evan of Dark Side of the Ring. And that was kind of like our their lead in to talk to us about the episode, because of course when I find out like the director of one of my favorite movies is the executive producer of the Dark Side of the Ring series. And just thinking back, it's like, there's like some bad cop themes in that movie. To hear him telling me, yeah, like I grew up watching your dad. And, you can probably tell watching that movie again that, it was like inspiring. Like there's like the archetype of that big boss man, like the bad cop character. Um, it just blew my mind. And so of course, when you're in the beginning part of talking about doing a project like this, I'm talking with Jason, and then our Dave Hodgson is one of the Dark Side of the Ring guys that help work on our episode, trying to, wrangle Mama Trailer down enough to have a conversation with her, because that woman stays busy. And everything just coming together and it working out, like it was like a dream come true, really, because I've been working on this book because dad, towards the end of his life, he was writing his autobiography. And so I just have journals upon journals. And so I had been in that space anyway, and I'm like, man, I see like WWE's doing biography series on, everyone else, but it seems like nobody's interested in doing one on dad. And I'm like, there's so many stories. It's such a good story. His story is just it's one that needs to be told. And so when they came to us about Dark Side, I'm like, I felt like it's something that we've been manifesting for a while, and now to be like, it's been a little over a week since it came out, and it's had over 700,000 views. And the engagement from it has been like mind blowing for me, because I'm like, holy crap. It's been 22 years, and there's only so much of a story that you can fit into 45 minutes, right?
Mhm.
But I thought they did an excellent job of covering it. I was very honored to be included in it, because they easily could have done that without me. It was freaking wild to see myself appear between Jim Cornette and the Mountie on that screen. And so, yeah, just what an amazing experience. I'm very, very grateful to it and grateful to the fans because, like I said, when we first started talking about it, it's like my dad loved his fans. Um, so yeah, just really, it's been really wild and crazy and fun.
That's
So
awesome.
one of the reasons why firefighter Brian suggested your dad for a topic is because he watched that episode of The Dark Side of the Ring and thought it was really well done. And so then subsequently, I went and watched it this week preparing for today's show, and you did a fantastic job on it as well. A question I have for you is, they did focus later on in the documentary about some of the questionable storylines that your dad was a part of. As a family of a wrestler, if they're pitched a storyline, does he come to you guys like did he smarten you up as a kid as saying, this is kind of a work, it's not all as real as people believe it is? Like how old were you when he kind of clued you in on that side of the business?
Attitude Era. It was definitely Attitude Era. And like for the hanging, it's like we all kind of knew because I'm telling you, and it makes me laugh thinking about it now. But before he came back to WWF as the Big Boss Man and he was in WCW, he had told us that he wasn't cool with Scotty Steiner, right? Because we spent a lot of time with the Steiners. And like I just remember having heat towards Scott because like that was the storyline for he was feuding with Scott Steiner. They had this match at Club La Vila in Panama City. And I remember like around the time that was happening, it's like we didn't like Scotty. Because like they had to sell it, and it's like,
Sure.
yeah, I just remember like evil eyeing him or like mean mugging Scotty if I saw him because I'm like, we don't like you right now, you screwed over Rich. And like looking back as an adult, I'm like, that's hilarious because he definitely did not have real life beef with Scott Steiner.
Right,
But
but
yeah, he
but
could smarten us up that
Scott probably appreciated the fact that you guys were side-eyeing him. He probably loved it.
Scotty's awesome.
Yeah.
Scott is awesome. He almost ran me over with a jet ski when I was a kid though, and that's part of why I had beef with him too.
There's real heat there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I told him a couple Thanksgivings ago, I was like, I used to hate you because you almost ran me over with a jet ski, and he was like, get over it, you're part of the family. I was like, join the club. So, yeah.
In the comments, Edwin, the rookie, is pointing out that when your dad teamed with Akeem as part of the Twin Towers and they took on the Mega Powers at the main event, that it did incredible numbers for NBC. Over 20 million viewers tuned in
What?
to see that match. And so he was definitely mainstream. Like, even if you weren't a wrestling fan, a lot of times you would watch the main event because it would come on NBC at prime time, and they would
Yes.
always put like the catchiest, biggest matches up first so that people would be awake to see them. And that feud between the Mega Powers and the Twin Towers is one of the most memorable angles in the history of
Yes.
the golden era of wrestling. Is it not, Tommy?
Absolutely. One of my favorite matches, one of the, my favorite memories as a kid was that match. Love when Akeem went to the ropes and went through the ropes. Just the whole angle itself was awesome. I was a big Twin Towers fan, and not only that, but I professionally and as a fan, I love the Doctor of Styles Slick. Lacey, I know you had a chance to see Slick over the last couple years. How great is he?
He's awesome. Slick, and he's huge, dude.
He is. He is.
Slick's a big man too. So yeah, Slick, he was incredibly kind to me, and of course, George, he's He's a big sweetheart himself.
Yes, yes.
He really is. I'd be more scared of his wife Mary. She's amazing. She's amazing. She is amazing. But yeah, that is wild to think about. 20 million people watching that match, and it's so it's so camp, like the Akeem of it all, because that's who dad won the title from One Man Gang before he went over to WWF.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, he's had a long career, a great career, and we appreciate you taking some time out this morning to talk about your dad. And if you haven't had the opportunity to watch that Dark Side of the Ring yet, definitely go out of your way to do so. Excellent episode, Jay. We'll end it here because since we are doing good and we don't want to jinx it and have the show go off the air in a bad way, since we were able to all talk for a little while. Hopefully next week there is no technical difficulties. Would love to get Lacey on in the future again and talk more about the wacky world of professional wrestling and her, you know, pretty much, gravitating, whether she wanted to or not, back to the wrestling business. Lacey, we appreciate your time today, and we'll always hold your dad in the utmost regards. Thank you so much for taking some time out today.
I appreciate y'all so much. I hope you have a fantastic day, and thanks to everybody for your questions and for tuning in. I'll look forward to next time.
And
Absolutely. Have a great day.
thank
Later,
you, Lacey.
Bubba's.
All right.
There will be a next time, Tommy, because she's too good of a guest not to have the callers connect with. I don't know why, wrestlers say make chicken salad out of chicken shit. We started with chicken shit. Lacey made a little chicken salad for us, but it'll go better next time.
Oh, listen, at the end of the day, people listen back to it. It's a fun episode. Something's up with the system today. It's not a big deal. It sucks that the our listeners didn't get a chance to connect with her one on one, but we'll do it again in the future and make that happen. Jumpin' Jay, I got a busy day today. We are doing a show tonight. If you guys anywhere you're out in the United States, you Google the Liberty Science Center. It's one of the big buildings and you know one of the landmark locations in New Jersey that all the schools send kids there on field trips, and it's a big deal. They're having in the summertime on Thursday nights they have a thing called Liberty Science Center After Dark for 21 and over every Thursday night. They do different events every week, and they're partnering up with ISPW tonight to have a pro wrestling night there. We're gonna have 3 matches. We're gonna have karaoke, cosplay contest, trivia. So if you live in the New Jersey area and looking for a fun night out tonight, come hang out with ISPW at the Liberty Science Center tonight from 6 to 10 p.m.
QR code on the YouTube screen right there. You can scan that. It'll take you right to the ISPW website.
Awesome, man. Listen, I hope that you have a great day. Hopefully next week we're able to talk to everybody and we can all hear each other and be happy-go-lucky. But until then, Jumpin' Jay, I hope that you have a great weekend. Everyone else has a great weekend, and we will catch you here next week. Well, what's the topic for next week?
Well, we actually had a fan text in and said they'd love to talk about gimmick matches. Not like it was a tie-in with like the spend the night in jail between the Bossman and the Mountie. So we're not
Sure.
talking steel cage or tables. We're talking about those special gimmick matches that only pop up every once in a while during the golden era.
All right, we'll talk about that next week. So have a great weekend, and we'll catch you here with gimmick matches on 80s Wrestling, the podcast.